The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Well, this is good to go for tomorrow. The monster cable was the final addition to the get rid of this stuff box. I almost said get ready to go, I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, this stuff's old and tired. The insulation has gotten sticky. I could clean it off, but really, cleaning your cables? The insulation has gotten sticky, and the big thing with this is that cutting it to any decent length is really hard, because there's this, it's not going to focus properly, but there's this plastic covering underneath the insulation over the copper, and that's disintegrating with age too. So basically, whenever you strip new wire, nowadays, you end up with a sticky mess, and you wonder if the copper's clean, or whether there might be some resistance being introduced that screws with your audio signal. So yeah, it had a good run. This is the one and only time I ever was dumb enough to fall for Monster Cable's marketing, but hey, I bought this stuff with the Klipsch 4 ones when I was back in college, and I cut one of the wires in half in order to use it with the center channel and the subwoofer. Actually, two of them in half, basically. Well, it had a good run. It was used with about 4 or 5 systems, so I'd say that's a good run. Let's quit obsessing with old wires that are getting thrown out tomorrow. Yes, gonna need some more fans than usual now that the summer heat is actually coming back. Had a terrible, terrible day at work today, so I picked up some Jack Daniels on the way home. What? You thought I meant something else, didn't you? Well, here you go. Jack Daniels barbecue sauce. I figured it was worth a nice laugh. So if I don't have enough barbecue sauce in there as it is. Right. So a lot's on the table when it comes to electronics. I can mod stuff, I can put stuff back together, like those speakers over there, or I can just look around and get curious about what I own, or something like that. But the first thing I really should do in order to unlock the potential for dual subs is I want to take a look inside this thing, see if there's any stuffing or anything inside of it. Because this Onkyo sub that came with the home theater, it's a cheap ported, it is ported, but it's a passive, basically. So, the thing with this is that it's a much bigger relative of those cheap little Echo boxes that come with all the computer sound systems. You know, those computer subwoofers with like a 4-inch speaker inside an echoey wooden box. This is the full-size version, and the speaker is an appropriate 8 inches. However, I'm curious if there's anything else inside the box, especially with it being ported, because I think the wood might be thinner, but the bass from this thing is significantly boomier, whereas the Klipsch's sub with thicker wood and not so ported of a design actually goes deeper, but it doesn't quite get as loud. So I'm trying to find if there's any way I could still use this thing in some way, shape, or form, but I'm kind of drawing a blank here. So let's see if it can at least serve as a mod project and take that woofer off. Couple of Phillips screws to pop this mofo, huh? Well, it does sound okay when you tap the speaker, but I wonder when people are going to start calling me a VWestlife ripoff. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, my suspicions were correct. This thing is entry level, to put it nicely. So this is what the speaker looks like when it's not in its echoey wooden box. It's a 6 ohm, which is right in line, actually the wattage ratings with the 660 watts and stuff, that's with a set of 6 ohm speakers. So 6 ohms impedance, that basically. This is the interesting part though. Assuming I can still read English, which I hope I can. Malaysia L006. Oh, the camera can't figure out which way I'm holding it. Boo. Power handling. 50 watts. Here's the problem. The amplifier can send up to 80 watts on the LFE channel at 6 ohms. So, was this thing made to break? Could I have accidentally cooked this sub if I really was a total basshead with it? 50 watts max! When the amp can send up to 80 watts over LFE. Maybe I shouldn't have been worried about, well, I'm gonna hook him up in parallel with the Klipsch sub, but alright. So, elsewhere in the box, if the thing will stop flipping on me on this view, what the? Hey, camera. Yo! There we go. Sorry about the literal camera shake. We have another solderless, well, maybe it's only the preview screen that's doing it. Alright, well, I guess we'll find out when we review the footage now, won't we? Another solderless lug fest, although this has little bend tab thingies, so they'll actually stay in place. Look at the itty bitty wiring compared to the Klipsch. So, but then this did have boomier bass, so it's a short run of wire, so I imagine there can't be that much in terms of wire resistance. The cabinet, it is thinner, I think, than the Klipsch. Thinner, wood-like substances. But here's the funny part. Check out the port. That thing is like a cross between paper and cardboard. Like it's, that thing's like paper meets cardboard or something funky like that. Hey, I wonder if the magnet's what's screwing with the camera. Apologies if you saw the thing flip upside down on its own. It's doing it on the viewfinder at least. But yeah, the port in this... Focus. Hey, look, there's the speaker. Okay, might have to use manual focus for this. Focus, you piece of crap. The port in this thing consists entirely of paper towel roll plus. That is cardboard. It's thicker cardboard, like the industrial cardboard that I see on big Gaylord bulk boxes in the warehouses and stuff like that. But it's well, what can I say? It's an entry-level subwoofer. But what this does show me is that there's plenty of room to add a little bit of stuffing. So I think next time I get my e-tailing on, oh, look at all that glue. Awful lot of glue for a paper towel plus. Well, I know there's wait, let's reach inside. Well, at least maybe it's painted, but no, that is cardboard on the inside. Tapping the inside of it. The flare is plastic, but the actual tube port thingy is entry level. Definitely some better build quality in the Klipsch, that's for sure. And I would hope so, because the Klipsch system originally had a higher MSRP. So I guess broken Klipsch equals working Onkyo. So solderless lugs, glue, and a cardboard tube to match, but it looks like there's some room to add some fluffy stuff to screw with the acoustics of this box and see if that does anything to the boomy bass that this thing puts out. So maybe I should poke around inside the Logitech. No, the Logitech is perfectly fine. Plus I want to see if the computer shop wants it. I have a southern trip coming up, so to speak. Southern style road trip. Like if I lived in one of those southern states where you could drive around all over the place in a pickup truck. Yeah, anyways. Not like here in New England where you can actually have shorter trips where you're not barreling down a flat stretch of road doing 80 miles an hour. I think they do that in Texas or something. Alright, tangent over. But I actually have a trip planned next week that might lead to me being able to sell the Logitech. So if I end up stuck with the Logitechs, they'll be as mod bait as ever. But I'm thinking reopening an account with Parts Express. Get some Acoustafluff stuff. I wouldn't go calling it crap. No. Ooh, sawdust. There's also a lot of cobwebs in here. So at some point, since I've had this thing over the past several years, some spiders have crawled into it back when I wasn't hardly playing any bass back at the old place. It actually was an apartment situation. So yeah, folks, be careful of critters inside your speakers. So, next week, I think on that errand run trip that I make, I'll see if the computer shop is interested in those 5500s when I'm actually in person, and can say, hey, yeah, I'm not just some eBay scammer trying to get rid of stuff over the internet. So, yeah. And of course, maybe reopen an account with Parts Express, get some acoustic fluffy stuff to put in this, maybe even stuff the monoprice speakers with something as well, just to take the edge off of the more echoey wooden box type stuff or something along those lines. I just want to tighten up the bass response, because this echoey wooden box design is pretty much what you get with the so-called computer subwoofers. It'd be nice if I could improve upon what I have to work with here, especially if this wood-like substance that's made of is actually thinner than the stuff in the klipsch. So, okay, let's put it all back together. We know what we have to play with here, and I don't want everything like half disassembled around this desk. Or project table, excuse me. I was trying not to call it a workbench, but whatever. By the way, kids, when you put one of these things back together, gravity is your friend. I had this thing on its side, I was like, oh, the thing won't stay still, when I was trying to put in the first screw. Duh! Told you I had a long day at work. Back together, but not hooked up. It'll stay that way for the foreseeable future until I can mod this thing to see if I can make the bass any better. Whatever. Actually, I have one more thing to add to the toss-away bin, and that would be the remnants of these old Logitech X140s here. I could fix these up theoretically, but they would have no concentrated coolness whatsoever when they were finally fixed. Because, yeah, these were a mod project that I was thinking of trying at one point. However, I still have one more pair of these that maybe if those die, I could mod those. In the meantime, though, when it comes to modded speakers, I am about 10 times more curious about what I can do with these old things from my childhood than I ever would be with those Logitechs. So, I think the Logitechs I think the Radio Shack speakers with modded parts, or maybe even two-way car speakers in them that can handle the low amount of wattage, would be a far better option in terms of modding stuff than those Logitechs could ever be. There is something else going on in terms of Logitech speakers that also has affected my decision here. That $40 waste of money so far up there is a set of Logitech 2.1s that I've had up there as kitchen speakers for listening to music in the kitchen. In 6 months of being in this geek house, I have yet to actually use them because I'm never bringing a music player or a laptop in here to listen to music the same way I did at the old place. Now when my main system is right, a couple steps away, and I could always bring in the Bluetooth soup can speaker for music in here if I wanted to wash a bunch of dishes or something like that. So, they can't stay up there because they're seeing absolutely zero action up there. So, I'm wondering, should I make those the bedroom speakers or something with the sub and everything? Or make those into a mod project to see if I can make those to suck as little as possible. There'd only be so much I can do. I know that there's some wonky frequency response hard-coded into the amplifier in that pathetic little subwoofer up there. But in terms of modding or something else like that, I just think I have a lot better options available for modding speakers than those X140s. They had a good run and they looked terrible because the cones were yellow, which made them look like they were yellowing even if they weren't. I don't know if they were yellowing or not, but those things at least look better. Those might be better off in the bedroom just to play with their dopey amount of wattage, or put some better drivers in there to see if I can make crap sound less like crap as much as humanly possible. I think though the Radio Shack speakers are a far better potential mod project if I can figure out how I want to wire them up. In that respect, the Onkyo sub is off of the front and center #1 parking spot position, so to speak, and the Radio Shack speakers are now ready to be investigated. But it's a little late at night now, and I've been essentially a day behind on uploading stuff, so why don't I play some catch up on the uploads before I really start messing around with these. And darn it, might as well put the air conditioner back in the window while I'm at it. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.